Hola, buenos días, hello, and good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Steve Gallegos with Remarkable People, Remarkable Places, and I just have so much fun traveling the world, meeting the most wonderful people that you could ever imagine, and that's why I want to bring these interviews to you, is to just share with you the level of people, the quality of people that are out there in the world, just ready to serve, ready to give, and just ready to share their lives and experiences with you. And that's in every aspect of your life, whether it's in your career, your relationships, your personal life, helping you build your dreams, etc. And it's so much fun for me to bring these folks to you on this particular program. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And if you like the program, make sure that you subscribe to us and also get in touch with our special guest today, Miss Patricia Werner, La Pati. Patricia Werner. Patricia is a renowned life coach here in the North Texas area, pero she is from Venezuela. So we brought her in from Venezuela, but I found her here in Dallas. Like I said, you can find magic anywhere you go. And so I just wanted to bring Patty to you today, and we've got, our tea and our coffees, and we're just going to have a conversation about her, about what she's doing, about the transformation that she's able to make in people's lives, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. I know you will, because this is one fabulous lady. So,
thank you very
Patty,
much.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for bringing me. Actually, I have to tell everybody that, as you can see, my English is not perfect. I have a beautiful accent.
Beautiful accent. Yes.
I used to joke about it. People ask me all the time, like, where are you from? And I'm like, why? Because of your accent. And I'm like, what accent? I don't have any accent. So I know that I do, but I'm doing my best here. On my favor, I have to tell that 4 years ago, I didn't speak English at all. So, and I learned like listening, asking, and making mistakes.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, she said, Steve, how can I be on your show? This was 4 years ago. I said, do you speak English? She says, no. I said, learn English. So
oh my God.
She's been doing it. But you have an accent. I'm sure that a lot of people tell you, oh yeah, like Sofia Vergara, on that show on television.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. Actually, my son used to joke with me about it. Like, hey, Gloria, why you do that?
Yeah.
Well, I do my best.
Yeah, I like her as a person, but her, the character that she plays on that show to me is kind of like just over the top, feeding that stereotype that a lot of the world has about what Latina women are like.
That's true.
What they sound like, what they look like. These just airhead but sexy, and occasionally they have this ability to bring intelligence to the world, and it's just,
exactly.
Yeah, but it's on occasion. And so as a woman, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, how do you deal with those kinds of stereotypes? Because I know that you get them.
Yeah, I get them a lot. However, I just don't pay attention to them, I don't. I know who I am, and it was like a long journey to learn who I am, and that I know more than that, So it's just that simple. Don't pay attention. People can think whatever they want about you. If you know who you are, it's nothing to do with you, It has nothing to do with you.
Right. But how do you get to that point? Because when people, it's one thing to say don't pay attention. It's easy not to pay attention when somebody's across the street saying, hey, sexy, whistling, silbando, or saying, hey, ugly, or whatever. When someone's across the street yelling at you, you kind of look around and go, don't pay attention. I don't know that person. But when someone's in front of you, let's say someone's at a job interview, or someone's a coworker, or you're out shopping or doing something else, and someone's right in front of you, and they're confronting you with, hey, sexy mamita, and all these things, how do you deal with it when you're face to face with that situation?
That it was really hard for me to learn that. I used to get like really intimidated by it, like it was like horrible for me to deal with that, until I realized, and it was again a long journey, that people see from you what they have, if you are only looking at me as a piece of meat, I'm mean, I kind of feel bad for those people, you know? It
Yeah,
is more
yeah.
like, it is so sad that you cannot see me as a person.
Right.
And again, I know that it's not easy to understand, but I don't pay attention to it. You know, it's more like, if this is what you see, it is because it is what you have in your interior. You know, it is what you are given to the world, what you have inside. That's
Right.
it. And that, again, has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Nothing to do with me. So I'm kind of joke around, you know, like it happened to me yesterday. Someone told me after a conference, she came to me and she was like, don't ever treat me like that again. And I was like, what did I do? And she was like, you treat me like an idiot. And I was like, okay, I'm really sorry about it. Can you please explain to me how I did that to you? Because I had no idea, you know, so I can fix it. And she was like, you told me that you don't know, but I do. And I'm like, okay, it wasn't like that. However, well, thank you very much for bringing that to me, you know, like it wasn't my intention. People get offended by things that you don't do, you know, and again, that is because that is what they have inside.
Right.
Has nothing to do with me. And the only thing that I can do is giving love to them. Accept people how they are and giving love to them. That's my job here.
Yeah.
Love people.
Yeah. How did you get to that point in your awareness? Because I know that in the work that I do as a personal mastery strategist, and having worked with people for a number of years, just guiding them through, they're all emotional issues, they're all mental issues, right? Everything that we know, everything that we feel as adults is ingrained in us and programmed in us when we're kids. And so, you know, all of a sudden we're an adult and we're feeling this way or we're reacting this way, and we wonder, where does this come from? But if you look back in your childhood, you'll find it, but that's not the point of this conversation. So where in your journey, how did you come to the awareness to have the strength, to have the courage, to have the ability just to step back and see the situation for what it really is and not get caught up in it? And not say, what do you mean, you know, I offended you, you know, and then continue the offense, as opposed to stepping back and, as you say, love them.
I love that question, and it's kind of...
Just so you know, I only ask good questions.
Oh my goodness, I know that. So I'm going to try to give you a good answer. It was years and years and years, you know, of getting offended by that. Getting sad, getting affected by those people and their comments. In my personal experience, I had a horrible self-esteem. Horrible. I used to think that I was a piece of trash, honestly. And I was living with that idea of myself for 37 years. At the point that I actually made a plan for my own suicide. And I was talking about that yesterday, how sad can be one person about that person, you know, like, then I realized that it was only an idea. I was having the wrong idea about me, you know, and it's like all of us are millionaires and we don't know. So can you imagine if you have $20 million in an account and you don't know that you have that money? So you are going to act like a poor person. And then you realize that you are a millionaire. So you can use that. In my case, I started noticing that the only thing that was wrong with me was my own idea of myself. Only an idea. It was just a concept. And it was totally wrong. When I realized that, and I get chills when I talk about this, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a treasure. And I didn't know about it. And since I didn't know, I couldn't use my resources. Then I realized that I was the action of God. And I was made by Him with the same resources that he or it, I don't know what you want to call him. But I'm the same here in a human body, you know? And I was like, I didn't know that I was all that. I didn't know. Now I know.
It's a beautiful thing. I love that, and I want to hear more about your story. But let me just take you to something you said. You said that you came to the awareness, right? You felt like a piece of trash for 37 years of your life, and all of a sudden you came to the awareness. What was it that brought you to your knees? What was it that brought you to your awareness? Because I have a very similar story. From the brink of suicide, all of a sudden you just make a decision to go the other way instead of to actually commit the act and leave this earth. What was it for you? What was the cause? What was the person? What was the book? What was the program? What appeared in front of you or in your mind for you to hear, I am valuable, I am worth it, I'm not that piece of trash I thought it was? What happened?
I remember when I was ready to commit suicide. It was Thursday, and I was planning on doing it on Saturday, next Saturday. So I was like, okay.
Wait. Today's Saturday. You're not talking about last Thursday.
No. It was a couple years ago.
Years ago. Okay.
I was 37.
Just wanted to clarify,
yes,
folks.
No. I was 37. Now I'm 43. So it was like 5 years ago. Okay. So I was so ready to commit suicide. I remember it was a Thursday, and I was planning on making the plan on a Saturday, next Saturday. And I was like, okay, the decision is made. I'm ready for this. I have nothing else to lose. But it was like a very tiny idea, like, I don't know, smooth, coming through my mind, like, what if there's hope? What if there's something else? And for some reason that I don't know, I decided to pay attention to that idea, I was like, okay. And again, I get chills. And I remember saying, okay, God, I'm so ready to go with you. I don't know if that is going to happen if I commit suicide. I don't know. But if you have something else for me here, just let me know, and I will obey you for the rest of my life. And I don't remember how, and I don't know how, I opened my laptop, and it was like coaching online, So I decided to pay attention to that Google thing that came from nowhere. And I am here being a coach. So I transformed myself. I mean, I didn't do it. I think that God did it, but He used me. And I was like, now I know that I have a story to tell. Now I know how you feel when you don't have hope. And how do you feel when you get your purpose in life? And this is what I want to share with the world. So I know how people that have been abused, I know how they feel. I have been there. And I know that you are so much more than that. And that is what I want to tell everybody. Like, listen, you are not your circumstances. You are not. You don't know what you are. Let me help you to discover that. That's it. That is the transformation. When you know not who you are, but what you are. It's amazing.
You're amazing. That's a very important distinction that you just drew. And I, as I listen to you share your story, it's like, wow, I can so relate, because those of you that know my story, you know that it's a very similar situation. You had 37 years of that. I had 17 years of that. At a point in my life that I wanted to, I would go home when I got home from school, and I would put a plastic bag over my head to practice how long it would take before I passed out. And anyway, I made the decision to take my life, but not in the traditional sense, or not in the common usage of the word to take my life, but I took it away from the people whose influence I was under, and I said, I've got to get away from here. I received a message too, or I received a word saying, no, there's something more for you. go pursue it. I didn't know what that was, and it turned out that I joined the United States Marine Corps when I was 17.
Wow.
As soon as I got out of high school, I needed to leave home. I wasn't going to college. I knew that. I wasn't going to get a job. I knew that. And so I joined the Marine Corps, and in the next 13 weeks, those Marine drill instructors gave me or developed in me the confidence, and they showed me that I was not a good for nothing, which is, the identity I thought I believed that was given to me, but that I was good at so many things, and that I had a lot of things to offer the world and to give to the world. And there was a situation that happened there in boot camp that actually caused the transformation. But this is your interview, not mine, so I don't want to get.
But I love
I don't want to get into that story. But the point I'm making is that, I can so relate to what you're saying, and I feel it. Your emotions, and I hope that it's coming across to you guys as you're listening to this, because I know that so many of you are hurting. I know that there's a lot of you out there that are disappointed with where you are in your lives. You're disappointed where you are in your career. You're disappointed where you are in your marriages, in your personal, your intimate relationships with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or just even with your friends, and more importantly with yourselves. And you've been asking these questions, and it's the type of question that Patricia was forced to ask when she was 37, 36 years old, and the kind of questions that a lot of people ask when they're in their 40s and 50s, and we call this a midlife crisis, because it's like when people reach their 40s and 50s, they start asking the questions that I think that they should begin asking when they're 18, 19, 20. What's my purpose? What am I good at? What's my value to the world? What do I want to bring to the world? We don't start asking that until we're 40 and 50. Why do you think that is?
That's a good question.
I told you I only ask good questions.
I have no idea. I think that I think that here's the thing, you have a kid, and you don't realize that you are forcing that kid to be and to do what you want them to be and to do. So it is like if we hide our purpose just to please the world, to obey the rules.
Is it that we hide it, or that we don't look for it or don't discover it because we're following somebody else's plan? What do you think?
I think that you don't have the opportunity to discover it. You don't have the opportunity to. So it gets, yeah, exactly. Thank you. And
I
that
said
is
buried. It gets buried.
Yeah, and that is what is happening. Actually, I think that until the last day of our life, we have so many things, and they're buried.
Enterrados.
Exacto, están enterrados. So it's not that you don't have it, and that's for me that was like crucial. It's like, oh, hold on. I don't need to bring anything from the outside. I have it. It's just that I don't find that. Oh my goodness, it's not about what is going on out there. I have it. Again, you have those resources. And it's not because you have them. It's because they are part of you, So you can lose, or you can lose what you have, but you cannot lose what you are. So when you start realizing that everything is inside you, it is so exciting looking to yourself, to the inside, and finding those beautiful things that we are. We are. It's not that we have. We are. Oh my goodness. It is like having the $20 million in an account that you don't know that you had. Right. You can start using them. And as parents, we have a huge responsibility, because we need to stop telling our kids what to do and how to do it. We need to help them to discover themselves making mistakes. And we need to be, as parents, I think, better observers. Just observe your kid and be there for them when they need you, but let them live their lives.
That's an excellent point and great message. Here's the follow-up question. How does a parent do that if they don't know themselves? In other words, one of the things that I learned years after the fact of growing up in what was a abusive childhood, I didn't recognize until years later that my mom is pure love. Her intentions were pure love. Her actions were not consistent with what I believe was pure love, but she was only coming from a place of what she knew. In other words, we only know what we know, right?
Exactly.
If we don't know what love looks like, if we grew up in an abusive household and every day there's beatings and there's yelling and there's cursing and there's drinking and there's physical abuse and emotional abuse and sexual abuse, if that's all we know, at the same time our parents or whoever's saying, but I love you, and the next day they're throwing you down the stairs, but I love you, and the next day they're throwing you down the stairs, we grow up thinking love means physical abuse. Love means I get to be mistreated. And so we look for those situations where we look for those relationships where someone's going to mistreat me. Okay? So my question is, if parents don't know that this is the way, what you're suggesting to believe and to encourage and to guide your kids to find their purpose and let them be, how do they find that out? How do the parents know that they're doing the right thing for their kids?
Well, first of all, I think as a mom that I am, I have 2 kids. Well, not really like very. I mean, my son is 21 years old.
Well,
he's not a kid
he's
anymore.
He's a kid. He's always going to be your
He's my baby. He will be my baby forever. But it is very interesting because when I had only Mike, I think that I was a terrible mom. I didn't know that. I was doing my best. But the results, I mean, he's a great guy. I'm so proud of my son. So proud of my son. But I know that he doesn't believe in himself. He is like non-confident at all. And he is kind of a hater, like he's mad all the time. He is like, he's a wonderful guy. It's just that he hasn't discovered yet.
He's wonderfully mad.
Yes. And it's sad for me as mom,
Sure.
Sure. It is really sad. And I keep telling him, like, buddy, you need to get out of that state of mind, like it's a state of mind, Now with Liz, my daughter, it's a totally different story. She's happy, confident, and it is, for me, it's like, oh my goodness, I am the same person, Same person, 2 different moms. That's amazing, because that is, for me, the important part here is like, it doesn't matter who you were, you can be a totally different person, It doesn't matter what you did yesterday or the last minute, 1 minute ago. You can be totally different. So for me, the best things to think is, what if? For me, that is the most beautiful question that you can ask. What if there is something else that I don't know what is it? I don't know, but what if? So I think that when you know that you were created to be in wellness and you don't feel good, there's a good moment to ask, what if there is something else for me? And keep asking that to yourself. And the answer will come when you are ready. And you will be ready, believe me. You will be ready. But for me, the most important part is, what if there is something else for me? Because there's always something else for you.
Wonderful. It's a great question to
I don't know
ask.
if I answered the question,
No, that's okay. I mean, I don't know whether you did or not either, but that's irrelevant, because the whole point is to have a discussion and to share ideas. And if the audience is getting something out of it, that's all that that we really want to do here anyway, because I don't think that there is an answer. I don't think that there is an answer for how can a parent know, because every situation is different, right? Every human being, every mom, every dad, their days are different. We don't know what they're going through. And so I know that it's hard for you to sit here and say, well, moms everywhere in the world, this is what you need to do. Dads everywhere, this is what you need to do. I don't think that we can do that for them.
No.
But I do like what you said, is that we need to ask that question, what if? And so I guess the answer would be, if as a parent, you're seeing a situation where your child is not, where you believe that your child is not balanced, or your child appears angry or mad or whatever, right? Unstable, maybe start looking at what resources you can bring to that child, because maybe you don't know. But you know that something's off because you have a daughter that's like, full of life and happy and out there being social and doing great things, but yet maybe the son or whoever, the other sibling, isn't. So you recognize that there's a difference, and you go, what? I'm the same parent. They both grew up in the same house. Something's different. Let me see if I can provide some assistance here. So provide some resources, right? Like one of the things you mentioned is you told your son, buddy, you need to change your state of mind. But I think that you've probably been telling him that for years, and it means nothing to him, right? Because it doesn't have the same impact. Now, if he goes to a conference, if he goes to a church service and he hears someone on stage or even someone on YouTube talking about these issues, and he hears them say maybe the same thing that you've been telling him, and he'll go, whoa, that's it, because he's ready to hear the information. When he sees you, all he sees is control. He sees mom, he sees safety, he sees maybe judgment, I don't know, but he sees mom, right? He doesn't see answers. You know what I'm saying? So there's a saying, and I know that holds true in my life too, is a prophet is never heard in his own land. No? And that's why Jesus needed to leave in order to be heard and to go out there and, because the people closest to him, yeah, Jesus, yeah, right, sure. Dude, you're crazy, right? Yeah, right, son of God. What? Yeah, your buddies will do that to you. Your friends will do that to you. Your parents will do that to you. Your kids will do that to you because they're so close to you. They see you as the person that has made all the mistakes, right? They've seen you without clothes on. How could you possibly be this person that has all the answers for them? So that's what my recommendation is, that find a book, put it in front of him. If he reads it, great. Take him to a seminar when, something's coming down. I know that this Stevie G guy, they say, is really, really good at this stuff. So when he does a conference, you need to take him to a conference like that. So
for me, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, it is like, we need to know that when we are ready, the answer is going to be there for us, So I keep telling my son, like, buddy, you are not ready yet, because I know that when you are ready, you're going to find the answer. So don't worry about it. Live the best life as you can live. Do your best, and don't regret what you did or what you didn't. Do your best every day, even when you know that is not the best. If that is your best, that's good enough. That's good enough. And when you are ready, the answer is going to be there for you. It can be a book, a neighbor, a bird, a squirrel, a penny, a piece of paper. Because how is it going to happen? It's not our job to discover that, Just be ready. Live the present, Be the best person that you can be every day. You don't need to be perfect. Just do your best.
That's excellent advice. I love the fact that you are encouraging the asking of questions, because a lot of people were looking for answers, right? You go, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? And we spend our lives bouncing off of walls looking for answers, when the most important thing that we can do is ask the question, right? The question, what if there's something else? What if there's something better? And the better question that I think to ask, that anybody should be asking, is who am I? And then not only who am I, but who do I want to be, right? Because if I want to be X, right? If I want to be a superstar, if I want to be a musical superstar or author or sports celebrity or, CEO of a corporation, that's who I want to be. That's who I see myself as being. And now the next question is, what do I have to do to get there? And so it's just a series of questions that are going to drive you to the answer instead of just saying, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? Because the logical response is, well, what's the question, right?
And I love what you're saying, because sometimes we get a lot of answers, but we don't know what to choose because we didn't know exactly what we asked for, So that is mental noise. And the worst thing that you can do is taking action from the mental noise just to feel the illusion that you are doing something, just to keep you busy. Okay, it is better if you are doing nothing, than spending your time and your energy on doing something that is not going to take you anywhere. Just because you want to feed the illusion that you are doing something, So
I love that.
Mental clarity is the key for me,
Love it, love it, love it. Patty, we could talk all day long. We could spend a week.
No, actually, we cannot, because
you've got somewhere to go.
5 more minutes, and my tongue is gonna be like because I'm speaking too much English for what I'm used to.
We're gonna switch it up. We're gonna switch it up, and we're gonna do a Spanish segment now. So, for those of you that do not speak Spanish, I hope that you loved this interview with Patricia Werner. She's a life coach in Dallas. How can people connect with you and reach you if they want to work with you? And what kind of people do you work with? What kind of situations do you want to?
I love to work with people with depression, anxiety, panic attacks. I love it.
Don't you love that? If you're depressed, she says, I love to work with people with depression and anxiety.
That's the best people ever. I swear it is the best people ever, because I was like that, And I see right now, I feel like a pile of happiness, That's how I feel.
A pile of happiness. Okay, love it.
Wow, that's how I feel, like always, or not always, but most of the time, smiling and feeling good. That's wonderful feeling, like I'm so happy right now.
There's your resource for you. So then how can people connect with you?
Well, of course, Instagram and Facebook, it is Coach Patricia Werner.
And I have Patty on my speed dial, so in case you can't find her on any of the social medias, you can simply contact me and say, how do I get a hold of that wonderful, amazing guest that you had on your show? Ooh. This one, Patricia Werner, the just an amazing talent, an amazing coach, an amazing heart and soul. You can just feel it coming across directly to you in every word that she spoke today. So I'm just so grateful that you're here with us on Remarkable People, Remarkable Places. We're going to continue this conversation. We're going to do it in Spanish. And so if you speak Spanish or you want to learn Spanish, you may want to tune into the next segment where we will see, I can't even talk anymore, where we will continue our discussion and getting to know the fabulous Patricia Werner. So thank you guys for tuning in. Leave your comments below, subscribe, connect with me on Facebook and Instagram, and come see me at our conferences, because we're going to have quite a few of them. I'm Steve Gallegos, here to serve you. Thank you for watching.